I'm Kerry Brett, and this is Shot at Love. Today, we'll discuss the astrological forecast for the new year with well-known astrologer and psychic healer, Jill Jardine. Jill will explain why love is in the cards for you in 2022, as well as predictions around romance. She'll break down the new moon chart, which sets the tone for the upcoming year and help shift our mindset so we can align with energies and opportunities that lie ahead in this new chapter. It's out with the old and in with the new, and this year's focus is relationships. Many are ready to reevaluate their personal life, and finding love is a top priority. When we come back, Jill will help us prepare to pull in a new love interest, get intentional around what we'd like to manifest, while sharing what's in store in this big year to come. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned. Jill Jardine is a professional astrologer, therapist, psychic healer, and spiritual advisor. She's also a former radio personality on WATD and the host of the podcast Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. She's also a reverend in Sanskrit Mantra, and chanting mantras shift outcomes and is an invaluable tool. For over 30 years, she's helped thousands of people find power and confidence within themselves and help them with important decisions. Jill is my psychic healer and dear friend who's predicted so many things in my life. In this week's episode, she'll offer us some hope, encouragement, while getting us fired up for the new year. So without further ado, welcome, Jill Jardine.
Thank you, Kerry. It's such an honor and privilege to be back on Shot at Love with my colleague, friend, and Aquarian starmate, Kerry Brett. Thanks for inviting me back.
I love it. So you were in the top 5 downloaded podcasts in 2021 on Shot at Love. So people are interested in astrology, especially when they're dating. And I know that dating and astrology goes hand in hand. And for me, it was really important that I knew what was happening in the stars when I was dating. You know, what specific time frames should I date, avoid full moons, whatever, you know, what to wear on certain days. Give us a snapshot of what's to come around love and relationships in 2022.
Well, thank you, Kerry. Yes, it's actually good to know personally when your own planets are going to be activated for love and romance, but there's some big picture items that are going on for everybody in the collective that we should know about in the coming year. And so 2022 is going to be a very powerful year astrologically. It's going to be wild with 4 Mercury retrograde cycles, 2 intense eclipse cycles, and more. Let me share what we need to know here as we start off 2022 with a new moon on January 2nd. It is in the sign Capricorn, which can be a more challenging sign for those who don't want to do the hard work. But basically, the theme of January 2022 is a time to go within and do your inner work. There's not a lot of things going on out there. There's 2 retrograde cycles in the month of January 2022, and we've got that new moon with the sun moon in Capricorn with Venus retrograde and with Pluto in the sign of the mountain goat during January. Everybody's hauling their karmic baggage up the mountain until you decide what you need to do to transform and make your load lighter. So I just want to give people a heads up. I've been doing readings for the cryptocurrency people. January is a month of getting a chance to regroup and reboot before we really launch into 2022 at the Lunar New Year on February 1st, 2022.
Right.
So use January to get your house in order, get really clear what you want, set your intentions. Plan to set them at that Lunar New Year on February 1st, but really get clear of like what you want to release from the past couple years, what you will not tolerate in relationship, and really get creative with what you would like to see and what you deserve. It's time for everybody to have that love of their life and really enjoy relationship. And one of the reasons 2022 is a year to do that, Jupiter is in the romantic sign of Pisces.
Wow. Yeah, so again, it's what you deserve and it's time to receive. We've had a tough couple of years. And you always say that the year doesn't begin until the lunar new year anyways, I feel like.
Right. We have a couple chances. You know, the Gregorian calendar, January 1st, is quite arbitrary in the life of the soul. So we want to look at that lunar new year that happens in late January or in early February, always when the sun and moon are together at the new moon in Aquarius. Then we have another chance to initiate new beginnings, and that is at the solar new year, which starts at the spring equinox here in the northern hemisphere and the autumnal equinox down there in Australia and New Zealand, and that's on March 20th or 21st. Around March 21st, it can be the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. This year, it happens to be on the 21st. That's an excellent time to initiate. Anything we launch at the spring equinox will have staying power. So think about that.
That's interesting. So I want this episode to be hopeful and to give people hope, because I know a lot of people feel stuck and downright depressed. And the days are cold and dark, and we've had another big surge of COVID, and it feels like Groundhog's Day every day, literally. You said that we're in this Capricornian cluster, but this energy will pass.
Right. You know, it's interesting because what kicked off the COVID pandemic back in January, February, March of 2020 was a COVID cluster beep, 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 beep. And that was with outer planets in Capricorn. This time it is a little lighter because we don't have Saturn and Jupiter together with Pluto and Capricorn. What we have is Pluto is finishing its journey of 14 years there. It will be out of there in 2024. But we've just temporarily have Venus there, the sun is there until the 19th of January, and Mercury will be retrograding back into Capricorn. So we basically will have 3 planets in Capricorn during January. And that's a bit of a Debbie Downer sign. Sorry, all your Capricorns. It is the sign of hard work. And as I said, it's making everything feel heavy and dense. And retrogrades, 2 planets retrograde in January, is making us have to take a little bit break. And that's why a lot of people are getting sick. They need to go within, they need to look at their physical reality, whether it's with their health, with their relationships, with their work. And so we need to take advantage of this time as a very internal time. Not a lot is going to move forward outwardly, but that's okay. I was predicting back in the summer of 2021, we were going to have a pretty internal, almost lockdown type of January, and to get ready for it and don't really launch any new projects, whether they be in romance or other aspects of your life in January. Just be patient and use it to do your inner work and maybe sleep more.
I love that. There is some activity around the new moon, and the new moon brings a lot of opportunities and activity. And I think, this is my take, March is going to be the hot month, and it's going to be off the charts as far as romance. So let's just say hypothetically you've never joined a dating app and you're thinking about doing that. It takes a little while to connect with these people. I know it took a month before my boyfriend asked me out. I just feel like a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm going to join in March. January's not a great month. I think you need to start getting your feet wet, get your ducks in order, slowly start learning how to be a part of this community and learn online dating, because you can't just expect to just jump on the dating app in March and be on a date. I mean, it can happen,
Right.
but I do think work this energy, and it may not have staying power, let's say, in January, but by February, in the beginning of February, people are going to be clear and ready to get back out there.
Right. February is a really good time to get things out there. There's several planets in the sign Aquarius, which is an air sign, which has to do with communication. And Aquarius says, throw a wide net, get all your feelers out there. Sun will be in Aquarius. Mercury will go back into Aquarius in mid-month. Saturn is in the sign Aquarius. So February is a really good time to sort of get ready, write up your
Tinder bio.
Write up your bio, get your communications in order, and get ready to launch.
Yeah.
But March is when you dive into the deep end, and the metaphor is quite appropriate with so many planets in the water sign Pisces. March is a love fest.
Yeah, yeah. So people are thinking about love anyways, in February with Valentine's Day, but Mercury will be in retrograde. So it is a time to reevaluate, reassess, rebuild, and resolve the past. So it doesn't matter if it takes a long time. If you had a lot of heartbreak and a lot of setbacks, it takes a long time to heal that. I just feel like the time is now. And, you can use this period of time in January to reflect on the lessons you've learned that has prepared you for the future. But this is the year to shift our mindset and to create the reality in life we want. What do you think about that, Jill?
I absolutely agree with you, Kerry. You're right on. And just a little note about the Mercury retrograde, it does go direct early in February on the 4th. So, and that's a few days after that new moon. So early February does offer up opportunities to get your groove on and get yourself out there and notice. But I feel the real merging and immersing with others is very powerful in the month of March and April due to Piscean party of planets.
That's funny. So what's the Mercury retrograde cycle for the new year? So people are prepared for those recycling Tinder matches and old boyfriends popping up on Facebook.
Right. The old rock star boyfriends showing up and being right there on your Facebook doorstep when you least expect it. So I guess they did not get that record deal, right? So yeah, the weird thing about 2022 is that there are four Mercury retrograde cycles happening this year, which is highly unusual. Only usually there's three,
Right.
and they're usually timed out, so they're every 3 months. And the other crazy thing about this year, the Mercury retrograde cycles start out in air signs, which are communication signs. So we're going to see that whole phenomena of travel and electronics and cars and anything you use for communication or transport being befuddled. But then they go back into earth signs, which is wild, which means it's all about getting your physicality in order. So let me go through the Mercury retrograde cycles in 2022. Get your pens and pencils ready to jot this down. So Mercury retrogrades on January 14th through February 3rd, 2022, first in the sign Aquarius from January 14th to the 25th, and then backtracks to Capricorn from January 25th to February 3rd. Now, if you are these sun signs, this means that you have perhaps even more work to do with releasing, letting go of the past, and working with the Mercury retrograde. So that's Aquarians and Capricorns, January into February. The second Mercury retrograde cycle is from May 10th through June 2nd, with Mercury retrograding in Gemini from May 10th through May 22nd, and then backtracking into Taurus from May 22nd to June 2nd. So you're it, Gemini and Taurians, in the Mercury retrograde redux. The third Mercury retrograde cycle is September 9th through October 2nd. Retrograding in Libra from September 9th to 23rd, and backtracking into Virgo from September 23rd through October 2nd. You're it, Libra and Virgo. And then the abnormally fourth Mercury retrograde cycle occurs December 29th, 2022, all the way into January 18th, 2023. And that's pure on Earth sign Capricorn.
So it's really like 3.5 retrogrades.
Right, because it's the tail end of 2022.
Yeah. So it's not really, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a challenging year. But I think what I've learned about Mercury retrograde is if you know how to work the energy, you can kind of sail through it.
You can get a lot done. You can do a lot of inner work, and you can do a lot of preparatory work through Mercury retrograde. It's just never good to buy things like cars, make any kind of purchases, houses, buy new electronics. I mean, it really is a time, I think, in general, not to spend money on anything new if you can avoid it. There's another retrograde cycle that's really related to dating, and that has to do with the planet Venus, goddess of love. Venus has been retrograding since December 19th, 2021, and ends on January 29th, 2022. This is why the love ship hasn't sailed yet. Mercury's retrograde in the very practical and karmic Capricorn earth sign. So that's why there's a heaviness. That's why COVID came back. That's why people aren't finding the juice. They're not finding the joy. And so if you know about Venus retrograde, especially in a heavy duty earth sign, it's going to be like there's a thud going on in your life and you're not getting that elevation. But Venus retrograde in Capricorn is really good for your work life or your professional life to get it in order. And Venus only goes retrograde every 2 years, so it doesn't go retrograde every year. So it's out of the way now for the next couple years.
Okay. Well, things will start to lighten up for sure. And I know that we're going to see a lot of change this year. So emotionally, it may feel like we're still digging ourselves out. But I feel like this year will be when the phoenix rises from the ashes. What are your thoughts on why this year will be prosperous and full of abundance?
Well, that's because jovial Jupiter is home in Pisces after staying in hardworking and karmic Capricorn in 2020 and then Aquarius in 2021. Jupiter is not comfortable in either Capricorn or Aquarius, the signs ruled by Saturn. So coming home to Pisces is going to bring more abundance, love, feel good. The two signs that Jupiter likes the best is home court Sagittarius and traditional ruler Pisces. So Jupiter is going to lighten things up. It's going to make us feel good emotionally. Pisces is a water sign. It rules the emotions. It's going to help people feel very connected spiritually. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It has to do with otherworldly phenomena. It's a higher vibration of the love planet Venus. Venus does very well in Pisces, actually, if you have that in your natal chart. So it's just a real softening. It's a very softer energy. It's not the school of hard knocks. Everybody's heart can open because Pisces is a sign of the heart, as is Libra. And so Jupiter will be making some nice connections as he travels through Pisces, which is until May, but we'll revisit Pisces again in the fall. But as Jupiter goes through Pisces, he's going to connect with Venus and the Sun in March, as well as harmonize with Pluto in Capricorn in March and April. So there's some what we call harmony or ease among the planets, thanks to the Jupiter and Pisces. I think everybody needs to look, if they know their charts, where does Pisces fall in your natal chart? And do you have any planets in it? Because especially those who are born during the sign Pisces, this is going to be like you can breathe easier and you're going to feel like, life is so good now.
That's good. What goes down must come up. So we're going to lose these restrictive energies of that Capricornian cluster by early February. And we're coming out of the pandemic, I believe. We've done the hard work. We've gone through the pain and suffering. And the focus has to come back into relationships. It just feels like that will be the focus of this year.
Well, yeah, because it's been a year of people really rooting out their own problems, their own issues, and a lot of relationships have ended in 2020 and 2021, and people needed time to integrate all that. 2021 was a huge integration year. It was a huge transitional year, and in 2022, we're ready to immerse ourselves in the life that we want, which was blocked in the previous couple of years.
Right. We just had Dating Sunday, which is the most popular day to join online dating sites. And I heard Match.com was up 70%.
People are chomping at the bit to meet that partner. Although, from what I've seen from all my clients, people don't want to commit, though, they want to see what's out there. They want to play the field. They want to sample. Jupiter is more than one, by the way. Jupiter is multiple energies. So Jupiter in Pisces is people are literally going to throw that wide net to all the fishes in the sea, and whatever few they pull up, they're going to try them out. So it's not really about one-on-one quite yet until the fall. It's really going to be about let me take my chances on bachelor number 1, 2, and 3 and see which one pans out.
That's good. It's good to diversify and have a lot of sharks circling you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great energetic. And now that the holidays are behind us, I think people are ready to get back out there. Is there anything happening astrology-wise that would make people go for it and start dating?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's the kickoff date of the new moon in Aquarius on February 1st. And guess what? It's Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the tiger. What does the tiger do? He hunts his prey, and he will go after it and grab that tiger by the tail, and people will be very much more unpredictable. People might be more emotional, and they really are going to feel confident and brave like that tiger and go after what they want.
Interesting. So go on a date, match away, bring him home to watch Tiger King, the Year of the Tiger. That's it. Now, I'm the Year of the Tiger, right?
You're letting everybody know how old you are.
I think people already know how old I am.
24. So interesting, in Chinese New Year, they also correspond generally to where Jupiter is. So it would be like everybody born in Jupiter and Pisces. No, you're not the tiger.
I'm not?
No. The year after you is the tiger.
So what year am I? You'd have to look it up.
You're the ox.
Interesting.
Yes. I mean, I
know I'm as stubborn as an ox.
I can actually tell you, let's see, I can tell people who was born in the year of the tiger. 1938, 1950, 1962, 1974, 1986, 1998, 2010, and 2022 are all years of the tiger.
Interesting.
Tom, our engineer, wants to know what 1973 is, and that was the year of the ox. We're just leaving the year of the ox. That's why it was like slow going, and we didn't see as much progress as we wanted. And 2020 was the year of the rat. Rat brought the disease of COVID, just like the rats brought the bubonic plague.
Interesting. So the tiger year is the year of the hunter. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So I want to talk about hunting and gathering and bring it to manifestation and mindset. So you were so influential in helping me adjust my attitude around finding love. You convinced me that I would pull in love easily and quickly, and you even set me up with my boyfriend, who I met on Tinder, which is, I mean, how's that for a psychic healer? Now, can you talk about the importance of your belief system, which is an energetic, and why it's so important to believe that you can find love online? How great would it be to find the love of your life, the man of your dreams? Do you believe online dating would work if you had the right tools to be successful? Well, I have exciting news. I've created your Best Shot at Love Masterclass. I cannot wait to share with you what's worked for me in my life and for many of my clients that have helped over the years. If you enroll in this class, you have a winning mindset and believe in getting help before you start something new. If you're ready to see changes in your dating life and want to take action, check out my free webinar at shotatlove.co. If you decide you're going to choose another path, that you're worth it and you're willing to enroll in the masterclass, you can also register at shotatlove.co. I designed this masterclass specifically for you to be successful. Please know that everything you're going to learn in these 9 modules and 6 coaching calls has been carefully curated for you so you can gain the success you truly want. I will be there for you the whole time. In the meantime, I wish you all the success, and I can't wait to hear about your story of finding love. I'm Kerry Brett, and I will be your mentor and friend through this incredible journey.
That's such an excellent point. And I'll bring in a little astrology too about it being the year of the tiger. It's the water tiger. So it basically means that, like, you've got to get your emotional house in order and shift your emotional set point into one of hope, expectation, love, abundance, and positivity. So it is really about shifting the emotions. And this is going to be a year when we really take care of our emotions. We won't be so distracted by outside events that have an emotional impact will have more control, I would say. And so I would say set the bar high, get your emotional house in order, and really align with what you need on a heart level. See, everybody tries to do their intentions from their mind, which is kind of weird because it's like, this is what I think I should have. But if you drop into that heart center, that heart chakra, the anahata, and really feel what would be good for me, or what do I really want? There you go. There's your barometer for success.
Right, right. How you feel about yourself, and
Yes.
it's all around worthiness.
Yes.
So do whatever you need to do to feel better about yourself. I mean, you can feel good or feel bad, and that has to do with your mind, what you choose to believe,
Right.
how you choose to feel.
Self-improvement and self-worth are key, but some people go overboard on the self-improvement and think that that's more of what's important. Of course it is. We all have to be our best, show up on our best game, but self-worth becomes even more important.
Right. Than looking good.
Right.
Because it's that confidence and that inner light that you're shining that attracts people.
Right. It's your energy. It's your aura. If you're, doing all this self-improvement, but you feel
miserable,
that's what's going to be projected out there.
Right, right. So I think this is the time. And the pandemic has showed us that time is so precious. And I think people should embrace a now or never attitude. What is your tips or your advice around manifesting the life that you want in 2022?
Well, I think that people, first of all, there's a couple ways of doing this. You get clarity. What is it that I really want? Not what I've wanted in the past. In fact, that's the other thing. A lot of what we've based our lives on leading up to the last 2 years, we're seeing just does not fit the bill for what we really want. It's been conditioned from your past or from society or family. And so a lot of that has fallen by the wayside, and people have gotten down to the basics of what makes me happy. So take that basic happy meter that you've discovered and use that when looking for partnership and find somebody who aligns with it. So, but mindset is huge. It's shifting into positivity. It's shifting into almost like expectation. A lot of people go in with negative expectation. It's almost like hold yourself in a space of positive expectation, but at the same time, not having any expectation.
Right, right.
Because when people have high expectations, it's really hard to meet. I mean, I think if anything, the expectation should be for like, I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to have fun. I mean, I remember when I was single and I just turned 30 and I told myself, I'm like, you got to enjoy this year because you're going to probably be engaged by the end of the year. I mean, granted, I'm a psychic. I wasn't dating anyone at that time. So I'm like, I'm going to have fun. So I was doing the rotation of having 3 guys dating, throughout the beginning of that year. And then that put me into such a good place. And again, I didn't end up with any of those 3, but it did bring in my future husband. So that whole thing was almost like, it wasn't like I was playing a game, but it was like, I could be in a couple by this time next year. So I'm going to enjoy this end of my singlehood. And that's exactly what happened.
Right. So you had no attachment. So what worked for you, you had no attachment. And you also worked the energetic where you didn't have the lack mindset. You had abundance because you always had someone to date.
Right. And I diversified, like, okay, I've got this Canadian rugby player, I have this engineer, and then I have this Mexican shaman. So I'm going to rotate and get something from each of them, and then we'll figure out. And then, I got this very cool rocket science Frenchman who ended up coming in and being my husband. So it all worked out.
Right. So the astrologer meets the astrophysicist.
Nice mirroring. And that's what happens in relationship. You get mirrored back. So, I'm right brain, left brain, but then I pulled in a very left brain who was developing their right brain spirituality. So it's really nice when you bring in that mirror, to kind of like mirror back what you may not have, but you need to develop more, and vice versa with the partner. Right.
So I think the big problem is people have this lack mindset around online dating. They're like, it doesn't feel good to me. I want to meet somebody organically. We're still in a pandemic. And I just think there's so many dating apps than ever before. There's so much opportunity. There really is.
Yeah, I think the lack thing comes more from women towards how many men. There's not a lot of good men, or all the good men are taken, or these men can have their pick of all these, bevy of beauties. But that's not necessarily true. Yes, there's a lot of women and men on, but people are very particular, and people can kind of suss out and tell simply from pictures, this one has a vibe I want and this one doesn't. And then as they go deeper and they start connecting and interacting and texting, they really do see where there is an alignment and where there's compatibility. So I think that inevitably those that are not going to be compatible are eliminated, but there's a big wide field to start with. Right. It is, and people have to have trust in that process too. I mean, there are higher forces at play, and this is where astrology is so cool. You can see, like, there in Vedic astrology, which I also practice, you can see like the cycles when people are going to get married, when they're going to have children, and if they're in a romance cycle, if it's really, really going to be a hot one, or if it's more like, yeah, you'll meet people, you might not meet your life partner, but you're going to definitely be dating. Or if it's like, you know what, put dating on the side right now and really focus on your career because you're in a hot career cycle.
Right. But if you find love, your career is just going to improve and go through the roof.
Right. I mean, they're not independent of each other.
Right.
And you may find that love of your life through career connection.
Right.
Through your career.
So if you look at it as a business opportunity, when you go on these dates, that's always a good thing to do as well.
Right. You talk about that, Kerry, a lot. I love the way you spin it, that like people have to look at online dating as a full-time job and put that energy into it as they would of anything they're trying to achieve in life.
Right. But you brought up a good point. You're like, okay, these women think all these men have all this opportunity. Well, looks will get you in the door, but that doesn't mean you'll stay with that person, because that person may just not be a fit. So that, again, thinking about it that way is a lack scarcity mindset. And so I think what you should do is say, all right, we've done the hard work. We've been through a lot the past couple of years. I'm ready to receive.
Exactly. Coming into receptivity on so many levels will bring to you what you want or what you need. And the other piece I want to say, that the year of the water tiger. So we've got water, emotions, Jupiter in Pisces, water sign, emotions. So the thing is, women think that men are only into the physicality, whether it's sexual energy or physical attraction. But if you ask anybody who knows this biz like you do, it's really emotional connection. There has to be, like, they feel emotionally connected to a woman. Like, she's listening to me, she understands me. And same with a woman, but really, I think women look at men as like they're physical creatures. They want that physical connection, but there's that piece that they forget, that men really want that emotional connection as well.
They do. It's amazing. And they're so in tune. Men, I always say, date a lot of people in the beginning, because men know you're in demand. You don't have to tell them. They can just pick up on the energetic of it.
Right. And they have to work to get into your schedule.
Right. And they're like dogs and bees. They smell fear. They do.
And as
it's like
tigers,
it's like a baby knowing there's a storm coming.
And like tigers, they like the competition. They like the hunt.
They do. So don't take that job away from them. Do not. So now the Capricornian control of the 3D matrix wants you to feel stuck. Stay put and stay scared. What advice do you have for people who might be new to dating or hesitant to join a dating app, or just simply overcoming their fears around online dating?
You won't know until you do it. I mean, the theme or the slogan for this year is dive into the deep end. I mean, wade your way in, but then dive in.
Right.
Or give no fuck. No, we take that out. As my son would say, give no fuck. No, it's like after the restriction of the past 2 years, why not take a chance? You might be on lockdown. No, I don't want to say that.
No.
But after the restriction of the past 2 years, why not take a chance? Life is going by chronologically, and you don't want to lose opportunities.
It's true. What do you have to lose? I always said that about online dating. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So what? You went out, you had a steak, and they picked up a meal. Like, you just don't know.
Right. And you'll never know until you try.
It's so true. So I want to ask you about some of your single clients that come to you for advice or their love cast. What do you think some of the concerns or questions they may have around 2022?
Well, a lot of them have been holding on to relationships because they haven't been able to date. And there's these people, these guys have shown up for them sometimes, but like a lot of them at the end of 2021 were staying in relationships to get through the holidays and to have somebody in the holiday. And because they didn't see any other options at that point, they would even say they're complained about going online and there's no viable guys. So a lot of them had just kind of like given up hope and were settling. And that's like the worst thing you can do.
Right. Well, like you said, astrology shows the cycles. So this past Monday was the most popular day for people to call a divorce attorney. So January is divorce month, really, because people have gotten through the holidays and they want to make a shift. It's a new year, new chapter, new beginnings. And I know these eclipses or full moons will bring issues to the surface. So Jill, let's talk about full moons. And they may not be a bad thing when dating. Like that werewolf you went on a date with on a full moon might turn out to be a real thriller.
That's right. So feisty full moon frolics and fornication can be looked forward to this year on January 17th, the full moon with the moon in Cancer, the sun in Capricorn. Very good for emotional connection. Full moon in February is on February 15th. The full moon in March is March 18th. Full moon in April is April 16th. This is a particularly good one because the moon will be in the relationship sign of Libra. May 16th is a full moon in Scorpio. However, it is an eclipse. So that may not be as productive because things will be eclipsed. It's a lunar eclipse. The full moon in June is on June 14th. Very good for communication. Full moon in July is July 13th. That's a very nice one for emotional connection. It's the sun is in Cancer, moon is in Capricorn. Full moon in August is August 11th. September 10th is the full moon with the sun in Virgo and moon in Pisces, another good emotional one. October 9th is a full moon in Aries. October 8th is a full moon lunar eclipse with the moon in Taurus, sun in Scorpio. Not so good because it eclipses things. And the final full moon of 2022 is on December 7th. Write those dates down, plan your dates.
Right. So there's really just two full moons that you should avoid, the two
eclipses.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, those are May 16th and November 8th. In fact, dates could get eclipsed. All kinds of plans and activities could be eclipsed during that time, meaning they don't happen.
Breakups can happen.
Exactly.
Things are exposed.
Exactly. Cheating.
Yeah.
Especially that one in November 8th. Actually, both of them, because they're both Taurus Scorpio, and Scorpio is hidden secrets. So May 16th and November 8th, 2022, find out if that date was lying or cheating on you.
Interesting. So in closing, I want to end on a positive note. New moon, what are the new moon dates and good days to set your intentions to manifest love?
Yeah, so new moons are really good because those are the times when you want to go on a first date, that you want to have a new beginning with your attitude, with your outlook. You really want to go all in, put positive energy forth. So we missed the first one in January, which was January 2nd. But again, it was sort of a Debbie Downer because of Venus, the goddess of love, was retrograde. But she'll be direct for that new moon on February 1st in Aquarius, Lunar New Year. As we said, great time to initiate your new life and love life going forward, as is March 2nd, New moon in Pisces, that's very good for issues of the heart. New moon in Aries comes on April 1st, April Fools. You might have some surprises. And the cool thing about April is there's 2 new moons. The second one is April 30th, new moon in Taurus, but it is a solar eclipse. So tiptoe around that one. I would take the April 1st new moon as your Aries new moon start. Then we have a new moon in Gemini on May 30th. New moon in Cancer on June 29th, really good for love and romance. New moon in Leo on July 28th. New moon in Virgo, August 27th. New moon in Libra, great for love and relationships, September 25th. Then we have an eclipse, new moon solar eclipse on October 25th in Scorpio. Tread lightly. New moon in Sag, November 23rd, and the last new moon, December 23rd in Capricorn, right before Christmas.
I love it. A lot of new moons, a lot of new opportunities for a fresh start, new beginnings. I think it's go time come the beginning of February with that new moon.
Exactly. It falls the first day. We've got the Lunar New Year happening, and 2 days later on February 3rd, Mercury goes direct. It's go time.
It totally is. Well, Jill, thank you so much for sharing your insights and predictions for 2022. Where can people find out more about you or hire you for their own personal reading?
They can go on my website, www.jilljardineastrology.com. Check out my podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, for other astro info as well. Kerry, thank you so much. It's always so much fun recording a podcast with you for Shot at Love.
I love it. Thanks so much for being here today. We'll have you back on probably halfway through the year to see what's new. And I know it's so hard to predict so far in advance, but we'll have you back and we'll do a recap.
Summer of Love 2022.
I love it. And in honor of our guest, astrologer and psychic healer, Jill Jardine, these Shot at Love dating tips are inspired by her. Number 1, new year, new attitude, and new you. Number 2, if you feel the need to stay stuck and stay put out of fear, use all of your strength to push past your doubts around finding love. Number 3, don't forget, it's the year of the tiger. Ladies, let the men pursue you, and you can decide if you'll be part of the pride. I hope you found some of my tips helpful this week. This is what Shot at Love is here for, to help you find love. Keep up the commitment to yourself and commit to helping someone else by sharing this podcast. Remember to stay safe and stay tuned for more episodes. If you like this show, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. I'm Kerry Brett, and we'll see you next time.